Good evening. The town of Shoreham in West Sussex fell silent today, exactly 1 year after a plane crash which claimed the lives of 11 men. At precisely 1:22 p.m. on August the 22nd last year, a vintage Hawker Hunter jet crashed onto the A27 during the Shoreham Air Show. Well, today a service was held on the town's toll bridge, the focal point of the community's grief. Our reporter Charlotte Wilkins was there.
Family and friends with sorrow etched on their faces. It may be a year on from the Shoreham air crash, but emotions are still very raw, many in disbelief at what has happened.
Graham Mallinson.
Today, a short service was held to remember those who died.
Daniele Polito. Mark Reeves.
It was followed by a minute's silence.
Today is immensely important for the relatives and families. It's their first anniversary. They've had the worst year of their lives, and today must be very challenging. But I hope they feel supported by the love and great feeling that everybody has shown, not only last year, but today as well.
Local people arrived at the bridge from the early hours to pay their respects, lay flowers and messages of remembrance.
We lost Matt Grimstone and Jacob Schultz. They were two of our players at Worthing United. We're going to be doing our own thing at the club today for them, but just wanted to bring our flowers down here and respect the boys and everyone else that died in that. It was just awful.
But it wasn't just the people who lost loved ones who felt compelled to be here. Peter Reid was driving along the A27 when the plane crashed in front of him. The impact of what he saw that day has stayed with him.
He just happened to be coming along this road, just an almighty bang. He thought his car had exploded and he just didn't realise exactly what had happened to start with. Jumped out of the car as it was moving and just got out and looked back and saw the horrific sights and devastation of what had happened.
12 months on, this community is still in shock and in mourning.
Charlotte Wilkins reporting. Well, families of the victims of the crash are still coming to terms with what happened. One of those victims was Daniele Polito, who was just 23. Andrea Thomas has been speaking to his mother, Leslie, and sister, Marina.
That night, I kind of knew. Marina didn't. I knew it must be. I knew that there was no sign of him. His phone hadn't been answered. So I knew deep down it was.
Marina, can you just tell me a little bit about Danielle's personality?
Cheeky, lovable.
What was important to him?
Family.
His friends and family meant everything to him. He would do anything for anyone. Daniele and I would argue all the time, but as soon as I was upset about anything, he was straight on their case. Anytime he thought anyone had hurt me, he would jump right in.
I have friends, sadly, who've lost a child, but until one has it happen, there's no way you can understand it at all. It's incomprehensible, really. And I still feel, I'm not in denial, but I still feel that he could come back, so it's still very surreal.
If Daniele was up there listening to you two talking, what would he say to you?
Stop crying.
Exactly.
Stop being so emotional.
But he would say straight away, look, I'm having a great time. What are you crying about? I'm happy.
Yeah.
Be happy. This is what he would say, wouldn't he, Marina? That's why we picked it. In the words of Bob Marley, don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
That's the song we had in his service. He had a lot more qualities than I think even the family realised at all. So, very proud of him.
Daniele Polito's mother and sister talking to Andrea Thomas. Well, since the crash, 14 safety recommendations have been made by the Air Accident Investigation Branch, which include flying displays being kept away from major roads and railway lines. It's reported the police are still considering whether to bring manslaughter charges against the pilot Andy Hill. James Healy-Pratt is the lawyer who represents most of the families who lost loved ones.
They know that it's going to take a little bit longer. We understand the safety investigators will actually report in late September, and then obviously there'll be a lot of scrutiny and discussion about that. But again, going back to the families, they've been courageously patient.
So far we've interviewed and taken statements from over 350 people. There's over 4,000 documents and exhibits that we've secured and are examining. So significant lines of inquiry. The investigation continues.
Remembering Shoreham 1 year on, and there's more on today's events on our website. Go to itv.com/Meridian. In other news tonight, and firefighters have spent a second day at the scene of a fire which destroyed a secondary school in West Sussex. More than 75 firefighters were called to tackle the flames which ripped through the academy in Selsey yesterday, leaving only a metal skeleton. Richard Slee reports.
All that's left of the science and technology block is a mass of twisted metal, rubble and ash. About 2/3 of the school is burnt down in what was a ferocious blaze that started at 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Soon there were 100 firefighters from 3 counties tackling the fire, which was quickly spreading through the school.
The wind was driving the fire quite significantly in all the way through the operational stage, and therefore it was difficult to control.
It is a scene of utter devastation. Everything in this part of the school has been completely destroyed. You can still smell the acrid smoke lingering in the air. The school was built in 1963, and so most adults in the town were pupils here, including Alexa Winslade, along with her father, brother and sister, and her daughter was due to start here in September.
It's a disaster really, isn't it? You know, we all have these memories of this place and now it's just a shell, skeleton, but sadly, you know, my daughter can't make the memories.
It's also upsetting for the current pupils who now face an uncertain future.
It's just upsetting because I've never really seen something like this before, and I've gotten used to this school and I've just really liked it.
It's possible that some pupils will return here next month, but at least 400 will attend a different school.
You'd appreciate this was a very major incident. There are still fire crews down there. We don't know the extent of damage to the buildings or the land, but as soon as we know anything, I'd just like to assure parents and pupils that we will be in contact and let you know what's happening.
An investigation is now underway, and it could be as soon as tomorrow when we find out how the fire started. Richard Slee, ITV News, Selsey.
Detectives are appealing for information about the death of a man found lying in the road with serious head injuries in Guildford. Surrey police suspect he may have been the victim of a hit-and-run collision. The man, believed to be in his 20s, was found near the junction of Portsmouth Road and Turnham Close at around 3 o'clock on Saturday morning. Meanwhile, a driver who ran over a police officer's foot and sped away through Winchester city centre in a bid to evade arrest has been jailed for 18 months. 37-year-old Jamie Batting pleaded guilty to dangerous driving, assault and driving with excess alcohol and drugs. He's also been banned from driving for 3 years. And some sad news tonight. Veteran weather forecaster Trevor Baker has passed away at the age of 94. Trevor first appeared on our television screens in 1963 and quickly became fondly known as Trevor the Weather. He retired in 1987 but worked as a volunteer at Southampton General Hospital for more than 20 years. And there are many tributes to Trevor on our website. Well, let's take a look at tonight's weather forecast now. Here's Helen Plint.
From cold fronts to camping, driving through Europe, Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Well, the summer sunshine is very much here to stay over the next couple of days, but warm enough overnights and nights. Overnight lows of 14 to 16 degrees, so on the muggy, stuffy side. Some clear skies around, but perhaps just a little bit of Mr. Murk into tomorrow morning. That said, well, very quickly the day will get going. The sun will come out, burn through all of this, and by tomorrow afternoon we'll look at that. A very sunny picture, clear blue skies overhead, and temperatures boosted to a very decent 27 degrees, and by Wednesday highs of 28, maybe 29 are possible as well. Bye for now.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
And that's all from us tonight. We're back with bulletins in Good Morning Britain from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. But from all of us here on the Late Team, thanks for watching and good night.